checkbox. Hello, everyone. Today we're going to talk about the checkbox. It's very important. That's why I've devoted a whole video to it. So the checkbox is yet a different type of component in Android Studio. It is a kind of a button. It just accepts two positions, checked or unchecked. And it's often used as a component while developing Android applications, so we need to talk about it. Let's say, for example, that we want to develop a survey application or even a note-taking application. We'll pretty much want to use that checkbox, right? So let's go to Android Studio and see it in practice before we lose any more time. So we have an earlier Android project from before, yes, and we will continue to build on this project. And what I'm going to do is add two checkboxes to this project. And the checkbox is under the Buttons section in the palette window. And I'll just drag two checkboxes and drop them here. Now, what should we do with these checkboxes? Okay, so let's say, for example, asking for the gender of the user, right? So we'll have two checkboxes. One is for male, second one is female. Whichever one the user checks, we will write its gender into the text view here. And let's look at some of the features of the checkboxes. So we can define its height and width from here. And I can change the layout width from the match parent to the wrap content. And now its width is wrap content, but it's placed in the center, right? So that's because we defined gravity of the linear layout center horizontal. So let's do the same for the second checkbox. Okay, so now the two of them are placed in the center. So let's ask a question to the user. And for that, I will need to change the text of the text view and write what is your gender. And then the user will give an answer to this question, male or female for now. This is just an example. And I will change the text of the first text box to male and the text of the second box to female. All right, so what do you suppose we can do in here with these checkboxes? First off, let's define the default position for the checkbox from here. We can choose checked or unchecked as a default. And let's continue. So I'll change the text color of the checkbox to white. And I'll do the same for the second checkbox. And let's make the layout margin from the top 10 dp for the first checkbox. Yeah, do the same for the second. If user checks male, text of the text view will change to male. And if user checks female, text of the text view will change to female. Okay, so now we'll need to give an ID to these checkboxes. So I will give the ID checkbox male for first checkbox and checkbox female for the second. Okay, so now we got to go to the Java side. And I'll go to the main activity. Okay, so first up on the Java side is define the checkboxes. So I will write right here, checkbox. And, you know, if I click here, it will import the checkbox class. But I don't want to do that, so don't get ahead of me. So before the import checkbox, it's red. So I want to show you yet another import method. So when the checkbox is red, you can see a small lamp here. You see that? When I click this lamp, I can see the import class option. So I'll click the import class option and it will import the checkbox class. And that way I can put names to these checkboxes, male and female. So these names are my choice. Of course, you can give the names to be whatever you want. And now I need to assign these IDs to these checkboxes. And I will write male equals find view by ID r.id.checkbox male. And for the second checkbox, female equals find view by ID r.id.checkbox female. Then after that, I'm going to add a click listener to the male. So when the user clicks the checkbox, it will do these operations. And I'll write them here. Male.set on click listener, new view on click listener. So now I can write my codes inside the on click method. And now there are two options for the male checkbox, checked or unchecked. And I will write if male dot is checked. This will control the checkbox is checked or unchecked. So if it is checked, it will return true. And if it's unchecked, it will return false. Okay, so quiz time. If it's checked, what's going to happen? I want to write male to the text view. So I will write result.setText male. Now, why did I write result? Because we gave result to the text view as the name from before. So if it's unchecked, I will write this question again, and I will write else, and then inside the brackets, result.setText. What is your gender? And I can do the same thing for the female. Female.set on click listener, new view on click listener, and inside the on click method, if female is checked, result.setText female. And if female is unchecked, result.setText and question again, what is your gender? Right? So now that I break it down, it's pretty simple, right? So let's run it and see what happens. So the application is opening and it's fully open, and you see if I check male, text of the text view is changing to male. Now let's uncheck male. Text of the text view is changing to the question again. And if I check female, text of text view is changing to female. And if I uncheck female, text of the text view is changing to the question again. But I don't know if you see, we seem to have a problem here. What if I check both of them, right? So for this example, I really don't want to let the user check both of them. So what am I going to do? How do I avoid this? We're going to need to write some extra code. So I'm going to do this here. If male is checked, female must be unchecked. So I'll write female dot set checked false. And then this code defines the position of the checkbox. If it's true, checkbox will be checked. If it's false, checkbox will be unchecked. So with this code, if the male is checked, female will be unchecked. And I will do the same for the second checkbox, right? So this time I'm going to write male.setCheckedFalse. If female is checked, the male will be unchecked. So let's run it again just to make sure. Okay, so there you go. It's working now. So when I check male, female is unchecked. When I check female, male is unchecked. Okay, so I think that's enough for this video, don't you? See you on the other side. We got another video coming up.